for a very long
Conference
time.
will now be recorded.
We haven't really started the meeting yet, but you can go ahead and.
This conference will now be recorded.
Right. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and start with introductions. My name is Ekaito Dosaneta, and as Bob mentioned, I am the policy analyst for the Board of Massage Therapists. I will be here to help in any way I can with the facilitation of this meeting and be here as a tool to help find research, get you whatever you need for you to do your work.
Good morning. I'm John Comby, and honored to be asked to chair the group, and I look forward to some fun this next few months.
Okay, my name's Phyllis Nasta. I don't know how to put in my number on my name, so it's 27699 is my LMT number. I'm in Sherwood, Oregon.
I'll say hello. Hey, everyone. I'm Jonathan Anderson. I'm new to joining the committee. Welcome also to be invited to participate with everyone. I've been in my past life on multiple boards, nonprofit boards, so I'm familiar with the format and committee work. So looking forward to seeing what I can do to help contribute there. But more relevant recently in the past few months, I've become an LMT myself. So it's kind of like a reset of my career. So I bring all the knowledge and experience I have and bring it to contribute here with you all on this committee. So thank you.
I'm Carol Gray. I'm the board liaison for this committee.
I'm Isabel Spradlin. I've been an LMT in Portland since 2007. And this is my first time serving on a committee, and happy to be here.
My name is Jamin Rock. I've been in practice since 1999. I'm old, and yeah, I'm looking forward to working with you guys.
I'm Steve Davis. I've been a member of the Rules Committee since 2011. I was not aware that the membership had changed, and the email actually that I received still had me as a member. So I'm hoping to be a member again because I didn't know that anything had changed. And I've been an LMT since 2006, teaching yoga for over 50 years, an educator for many years, in business over 45 years. And I'm glad to be here. I know a lot of you personally, so thank you very much.
And I'm Lisa Garofalo. I'm here as a public member because my brain said, oh, it's a board meeting on a Friday. How different. And so, but I'm thrilled to be here. And I want to thank all of the new people for stepping in. It's I've been on committees before for the board. It's work, but it's also just how we create our community and our vision for our practice. I'm an LMT in Portland. And Ekaite, does this count as one of my hours for CE?
Yes. Right, Bob? Absolutely. Absolutely, Lisa. Thank you for being here. All right.
And I introduced myself, but I will again. I'm Bob Ruark. I'm the executive director for the board.
Okay, we'll go ahead and dive in. You would have received a packet this morning. Just don't worry too much about the content. I'm getting ahead of myself and getting that to you, so you have that for our next meeting. And as Bob said, this meeting here is for the introductions, get to know each other, and also we'll give you a breakdown as to what the board is looking for. and then it will be a really quick one. We'll set the date for the next meeting because all of the board, the committee members are not here due to conflict, but this was the day that a vast majority could be present, and we needed to get something going. So we will take this opportunity to set future meeting date where the work will really dive into the work that we need to, well, that you need to do. I'm here to be a tool and resource. So, yeah. All right, cool. Did you all receive that assignment? Okay, excellent. So then let's go ahead and, do you have any questions? Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and go into it.
I didn't get the attachment.
That's okay, Steve. We'll have I'll connect you with Bob, and you can discuss and see how.
I don't have, it's not my email. I just checked.
That's okay. You wouldn't have because you're not part of the committee.
Well, that's all I said. No one told me I wasn't. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Right. Yes. Okay. So for the committee members who have received the assignments, let's go ahead and go over each of the tasks that we need to accomplish. And then that will kind of give you an idea where we need to go. And then the next thing we will do is to set the date for the future meetings. And then there wouldn't be a need to keep you here for the whole 2 hours. And we'll call it a day. How's that for a plan? Okay, I see nods, so that's good. All right. Yes, Jonathan.
Is there legal support as far as language after we like craft anything? That's the first thing. And
absolutely.
Okay, great. And
yeah,
then I guess go ahead,
yeah, we have a DOJ attorney that will review our language actually, and anything else we ask her to do. So she's hired by us. So.
Yeah,
great.
And then whatever we do here goes to the board. So we're not we're just doing the work that we need to do for the rules, the language. We're crafting it, putting it together, and then we'll take it to the board. The board will say, yeah, no, send it back. So you have this back and forth work going on until we get to where we need to be.
Okay, and then I guess one other quick question. What's the timing, like as far as the urgency, as far as integrating this back to the board? I know this is like a restart of this, so I know it might not be fully vetted, but just in general, as far as those lists of things that are there, like our next meeting is in 3 months, 6 months, 1 month. I'm just trying to get a pulse on what the intention is.
I think that our next meeting will be happening here next month. Perhaps so after the board meeting, we're going to present whatever we're doing here to the board as as an update, and then the board will say, okay, excellent, not excellent, we need this, we need that, and then we'll bring it back. So when we bring it back, we're here to set that date for when we're going to meet after the board meeting, because we know we need to meet. So we will you get to decide what that looks like. That's why we're here, is to decide what that looks like for the team. For me, I brought you here. My job is done. I'm kidding. But so the group will set those future dates until this particular task is done. And then we wait for the next assignments.
Sounds great. Thanks.
Hey, Kaite. If you'd like, I'll go over these board assignments here.
Yes, please.
Or the committee assignments.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, so at our September 2025 board meeting, which is what the board calls their business meeting, the board voted on several things to move to committee. And the first thing that they voted on was how it's not Senate bill, it's House Bill 3819, is a bill that was sponsored by a representative and a senator, and it specifically deals with the massage board and the massage industry. And so Senate Bill 3819 adds a felony to So it makes providing unlicensed massage a felony for the second offense. It allows the massage board to placard a business that is not complying with the law in regard to getting licensed individuals. And there's some civil penalty language in there regarding increased civil penalties and some other things. The board has decided to send that, instead of having me write the rules outside of that House bill that passed, having the committee take a look at it and see how we can integrate those laws into our rules. And there's an example that I provided with that list that you'll see when we get into that a little bit more. That I think it's going to be not as big as I thought it might be. There's only a couple rules that are impacted because it's already written in law. What we needed to do in rule was to write something that said, there is a procedure that is followed or something like that. So you'll see that when we get into it. That's the first thing that the board voted on sending to you. The big thing that I think is going to take you some time to do, and there's going to be a lot of discussion, there's probably going to be some public comment in the Rules Committee, is the board has talked about making facility permits renewable versus a one-time purchase. And I'll give you a little bit of background on that, but not too much. I don't want to get into that a lot. But when the facility permits first came into effect, the purpose of it was to bring in these unlicensed facilities. We had no jurisdiction over these unlicensed facilities. And the idea was to bring in these unlicensed facilities so we had jurisdiction over the owners. We made the permit a one-time purchase, and it sort of backfired on us because we didn't make any requirements really for them to renew them or them to update information on us or anything like that. So what we end up getting is somebody that purchased a permit, and then they either sell that permit to the next person that buys the business, or they don't even update it or do anything. So we have, 800 permittees out there, and we don't even know how many of them are actually still in business or anything like that. What brought this to the forefront is that some other cities are starting to get their own permits, for their individual cities, and they're looking at our permit and saying, well, we want a stronger option, and we want to be the leader in the state. So we decided that the board decided that they wanted to make that permit a little bit stronger, which includes making it a renewable permit. And we'll go into that a lot more. I just wanted to tell you that that's going to probably be the big one. That's going to have a lot of discussion. It's going to have a lot of maybe some public input, after we the minutes of this meeting get out and things like that. So the board also voted to remove the BLS, basic life support requirement, and to make it back to CPR only. There's some information in your packet regarding, there's a white paper that I wrote. There's some research that I conducted, and it should be fairly easy, but we wanted to send it to the committee because that gives the opportunity for public comment, and LMT engagement, and stakeholder engagement, because the public is welcome here at these meetings, encouraged and welcome for their input. And so the board wanted to send that through that process. This is something that the board came up with. So under this House Bill 3819, LMTs became mandatory reporters. They were not mandatory reporters previous to that. It was an oversight that the legislators just didn't add them. It was an accident. And we corrected that. The board, actually we didn't, the legislators corrected that. And so the board wanted to add mandatory reporter training as a CE added to our CEs that are acceptable. It just made sense to be able to do that. I'm going to skip the next one and say that the board received some input from LMTs and some stakeholders regarding clarification of our dual relationship rule that we have. Our rule is very general. It just basically says you can't date a client, right? It doesn't get into specifics about how long you should wait and how you terminate that and things like that. So this individual was confused and asked the board to clarify that. I went to the board with that correspondence, and the board said, you know what, let's send that to committee and have the committee take a look at our dual relationship rules and see if they're strong enough, see if they do what we're hoping to do or what we're trying to accomplish here. And then there's one on here that it says fixed rules regarding zombie licenses. Zombie licenses are a thing that a term that we use at the board for people that have expired a certain number of years. There's a rule that I personally think is a little unfair. It's a rule that was written previous to me taking over as the executive director, and that rule says that if you're expired or your license has lapsed under 5 years, so that 4-year period, you can still renew your license, but you have to pay for 2 renewals and you have to have all the CEs from those last 4 years. So basically you have to go back and make it look like you had a license for all 4 years for us to renew you. Instead of making you a new applicant, that's what you have to do. It costs more for the LMTs. It's a lot more time. And for the LMTs to be able to do that, it seems kind of unfair. I've talked to my staff about it and the staff agrees. We brought that to the board and the board agreed that it should go to committee for you to take a look at it. So that's my list of things that we're hoping to have you accomplish. I know it's kind of daunting. There's a lot there. I think some of it should be pretty quick. And once I give you, I purposely didn't send you a lot of information because I didn't want you guys to focus on, one thing versus the other. I'd like to give you everything after this meeting and then have you guys have the ability to take a look at it for a lengthy period of time before the next meeting. So when you get to that meeting, you can decide what is the priority for the committee. You have plenty of time to be able to see everything. And I wanted to be able to present it to you and answer questions if you had questions about what each one of those topics entail. So those are the topics that are at committee right now. I'm excited about starting the committee process again. I probably won't be at every one of these meetings. This is kind of a Kaite's responsibility. She's our committee liaison for the board. But I will attend as many of these as I possibly can as my schedule allows. So I've been a little sick the last few days. That's why I'm home. And so I drank a whole bunch of tea and took a whole bunch of Dayquil, and that's why I'm here. And I sound a little out of sorts. It's because of that. So I apologize for that. Any questions at all about the assignments that are going to happen in the future? Excellent. So I think, is Akaite still here or did she leave us? There she is. Hey, Akaite.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
This is John Comby, and since we have the privilege of having our liaison from the board with us, would it be an option to hear Carol's sense of priority of some of the tasks out of respect of Jonathan's earlier question? That would be awesome to help guide us.
I think that's a wonderful idea. Absolutely.
It's a good thing I made a list, huh? I think that some of them are going to be more challenging than others. I think that the things that we have to do to respond to the passage of House Bill 3819 would be the top priority because we have to come up with rules to follow the statute. So that to me, those first two items, number 1 and number 2, would probably be the top priority in terms of timing.
And Carol, when you reference timing, I mean, are we looking 6 months, 2 months, ASAP? just so we can get a gauge?
I think like a month or two, that'd be my guess, because these things were effective January 1. Am I correct about that, Bob? And yeah. So
Yep.
yeah, it's reasonable for us to get this thing rolling.
And so in regards to House Bill 3819, we actually have, it changed the law. So we have the law. The law is there, so we can still enforce it. The one thing that's kind of important about 3819 is this placard. It's a new thing. It's the first time in the nation that a board has had the ability to do this. We found one other place that has done this. Believe it or not, it's in Kansas, which has no regulation, and it's a city that does it. And so we're the first national board that has taken on placarding a facility. So that's really the one that we need to kind of clarify in rule regarding placing of a placard on a business that's non-compliant. And the idea behind this, and we can get into it more when we discuss it, but I just want to let those that weren't part of the process know. The idea behind this was these are only going to be placed on facilities that refuse to get a facility permit and refuse to have any licensed individuals working for them. They're either labor trafficking, human trafficking, or just, they're just either prostitution. It could be any of those things, or they're just there to make money. And they're not complying with any of our laws, and they refuse to comply with any of our laws. The statute gives the authority of this board to be able to say, hey, we're going to placard your business, meaning that we have a sticker that we can put on the front of their door, a big red sticker that says, you guys have seen them on cars parked on the side of the road, right? Those stickers that they can't ever seem to get off your car if you happen to be unlucky enough to park your car there for a couple hours and the police come along. It's a placard that says, on this date, this business failed to comply with these laws. If you have any questions, contact. It's basically a buyer beware. And it does two things. It allows potential customers, to not walk into a facility and get injured by an untrained, unlicensed, unskilled massage, person practicing massage. And we've also had, women walk into these facilities and see sexual activity going on, or men walk into these facilities and have seen, prostitution going on in plain sight. So it kind of warns them that, listen, this facility is not licensed, don't go here. It also kind of keeps the Johns away for those prostitution facilities, because they can't tell their significant other, hey, I'm going there because I hurt my shoulder at work. Because there's a big sticker on there that everybody in town knows about that says that's not a legit place. And if they look at our website, they can see that this place has been busted. So that's the process that the board's been, or the committee's been given to work out, is that process. The rest of it is kind of already written in statute and doesn't need a lot of tweaking. And I think Carol's absolutely right. I think that's the first priority, since those laws came into effect January 1st. And facility permits should also be the second, in my opinion. I agree with Carol. Absolutely.
We've got a couple questions. Jonathan
Yes.
popped up first.
Thanks. Yeah, the law, is it a state law, federal law? I was just trying to see if there's any need for consistency. You know what I mean? As far as, so I just,
Yeah, absolutely. It's a state law.
okay.
Our statutes have been updated, and in the packet that we're going to send you, or if we haven't already sent you, the House bill is in there, and it shows which laws were updated. We're also going to send you guys digital copies of our rules and laws, a packet of our rules and laws, so you can actually take that House bill and look at the law that we have and say, hey, there's where it's been changed. Because I just looked at the legislator's website, and they haven't put our new law on the website yet, even though it's in effect.
It is.
So
It is. I just updated it. I saw that. I've been watching it, And
When
I
did they
just
do it?
updated it. Yeah, they
Because I
did.
checked it
Well,
like last week. So anyways, well, they
yes,
just got
it
it
was
there.
this
Yay.
week. Yeah, like yesterday or so. I was like, yeah, finally. So I uploaded that to our website, so it's on there now.
Outstanding.
Yes.
Outstanding. You have
We've
another question, John?
got another question from Jamin, and
Yeah.
Phyllis is after.
Yeah, I just had a question. I know we're not going to get into all the details, but with the new state law being passed, and I know the city of Gresham now has their own thing they're adding on to it. I just recently met with the city of Portland council, one of the councilmen there, about what the city of Portland wants to start doing. And so I hope it's on our agenda to discuss how we're going to be working, hopefully in tandem with these cities,
Yeah.
but not adding ordinances upon ordinances where it's just going to kind of muddy the water. And I would love to get to a point where we just what the state passed is well enforceable, and that we have the OBMT taking the lead on that, like you mentioned, Bob.
I agree 100%, Jim. And you know, when Portland reached out to us for us to be part of that process, the very first thing I did was I said, you need to reach out to the trade organizations and LMTs, and thankfully they were very receptive to that. But you know, like a lot of these cities, they have they have a perception of what massage is versus what the reality is, and they're trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist with legitimate massage therapists. You know, by limiting hours and stuff like that. They're kind of throwing the bad guys and the good guys all into the same mix. And I think Jamin is right. We need to make sure they separate those. And I think that's where we're at here, with the board wanting to update our facility permits, is to be the leader in the state, and where these cities can say you need to comply with OBMT, and that's sufficient for them to be able to ensure that their communities are safe. So
I might want to clarify that. Are you talking about, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about cities like Portland and Gresham making their own rules about massage?
their own ordinances.
Their own ordinances, and
Yeah.
it's kind of murky because it might be
Yeah.
duplicating what's already.
Yes. So what's happening is some of these cities are creating these ordinances that are kind of, the idea is to get rid of these facilities that are being unlicensed and bringing prostitution into the communities. But what they're doing is they're kind of lumping massage into a big group, and so what they're doing is, and I think unintentionally, I don't think they're intentionally doing it, but they're putting a burden on actual licensed massage therapists by limiting hours and limiting what they can have inside their facility and limiting, you know, all these other different things, within those communities. So I think if we address this properly, they can just refer to our facility law and rule and say, that's sufficient for us as long as you're following that. They don't do their own. So.
Okay.
And I can just real briefly, I can tell you that one of the things the city of Portland mentioned to me that that this new permit system that the city of Portland wants to enact, which basically means all licensed massage therapists would have to have a permit to be able to practice, would then also allow Portland PD to enter your premises at any time and verify that what you're doing is not illicit. And they said, of course, this won't affect people like you. And I'm like, well, I appreciate the sentiment, but again, having more and more ordinances, just the enforcement is the biggest issue, and trying to figure out who's enforcing what. And I much prefer OBMT to do it versus Portland PD. So,
oh, that's intense.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's been yeah, go ahead. It's been something been working on for quite some time. So with Portland PB and trying to quell some of the excitement that some of these agencies have had regarding, you know, trying to stop these prostitution facilities from coming in, but it's unduly impacted, or potentially could unduly impact, licensed massage therapists. We want to avoid that at all costs. So.
Okay. Is it time for me to ask my question?
Go next.
We've got Phyllis and then Isabel. Yep.
So, Bob, you mentioned the mandated reporter, the CE. is the board trying to create a CE that will be available to us, kind of like the pain management thing?
So we, the board approved, and if it's not already out, it's going to be coming out very soon. They reviewed, so there is already a training. The state has a training program for mandatory reporting. In fact, our board member, Carol, is the first of our board member to actually take that training to see the benefit of it. And she reported back to the board that it definitely was beneficial and good for, to recommend to our licensees. We talked about starting our own training program, but then we found out that the state had already provided one, and more than one. There's several there actually. And so we're like, why would we reinvent that when it's already there? What we want to do with this is we just want to add the CE of, if you take that class, we want to add that the ability to use that CE or that as a CE for your license renewal. Currently, it's not in there. So,
Oh, well, will there be a link to it from the website?
yeah, so we provided a flyer, a digital flyer and a regular flyer to the board. The board approved that. Yes, we'll be sending that information out to everybody's email with regards to what, where you can get this training. And I think what we were waiting for is potentially to be able to put on there that they are used for CEs. I think we're going to approve them anyway, but so.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you have to be a mandated reporter, you should be able to get training in that subject area.
Absolutely.
I think it should be included under ethics myself. Is there any way I can, propose that? Or because I'm a licensed counselor and I've made hundreds of reports.
Yeah.
And knowing how to make a report, if that's not ethics, I don't know what is.
Absolutely. And I think once we get to that topic, once that becomes the topic of discussion, then yeah, that's everybody has a voice. The committee can recommend anything, and the public can recommend things even. That's part of this process. So
that will be a topic for our committee, this
Yep.
committee. Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Isabel?
Yeah, going back to the HB 3819, and Jamin, I was interested that you already have contact with people like in other, like the cities or municipalities who are working on their own ordinances around this. I understand that it's a priority because it's already a law and the board would like to be able to, feel like our feet are underneath us on this. And I also, as soon as you said that, it made total sense. And I'm curious if it would be worth or within the scope of this committee to invite other people from the cities, the different cities or municipalities to this committee meeting to literally all be on the same page about what the board is doing so that we're not playing this game of telephone and trying to, because what I imagine is going to happen is that everybody's going to do their own thing and then we're all never going to be quite on the same page with each other. And I'm just wondering if there's any way we can get ahead of that by inviting them to the committee meeting or meetings, multiple, however many it takes, so that we can address all concerns as soon as possible and get it into the whatever we do from the get-go.
I think that's an awesome suggestion. And Carol or Bob, is that in our preview as a committee advisory group, or is that more a board specific? We're just making recommendations from the committee. We're not deciding for sure.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. You'll be making recommendations. I think, inviting them for public comment, if they have a public comment regarding that, might be a good idea. It's part of the committee process. It's something that the governor, is very adamant about, that public engagement. And these committee meetings, because they're longer than board meetings, they're more often than board meetings, gives the public the ability to have more time to be able to talk to the committee, which you guys are representative of the board. So I think we can invite them to make public comment and to listen to what the committee's doing, outside of any kind of collaboration. That would kind of have to be at the direction of the board.
So
Steve,
just to clarify, oh, sorry.
go ahead, Isabel.
Just to clarify, to make sure I'm understanding this, any actual collaboration has to have, the board has to direct us to do that. But so the most that we can do in this committee is just invite them as the general public. Is that,
Yeah,
am I understanding that?
You can invite them to do a presentation. You know, committees have done that in the past. You can invite them to say, hey, we're doing this. Would you like to present what you have? And then have them listen to what we have, and then include them in these conversations. Specifically, sending them our minutes, making sure they're aware of what we're doing, what you guys are doing. The problem. I mean, you can do the research that you need to do with regards to having a voice within the committee. I think you might have to get a little bit of a guidance from the board on that. Does that make sense? Like an active voice where they're here at every meeting, engaging with regards to that. I think that we have to be cautious about that. So
Can I just suggest, I think that's a good idea to include them, but can we just define at what stage is the right stage to include them? I'd hate to invite them too early and then cause more harm than good or confusion. So maybe like we can define like a 0.8 version of it or something like that, where there's still opportunity to have impact. And so it's not like, here it is, it's all done, where they can actually, but have a direction or have a kind of like a framework in place where they can look at it. That'd be my only, additional thought, is to make sure that we like are showing them. That's the leadership part, is showing them that what we're thinking, and then still getting their earnest input as far as if it might work for them, so they don't have to duplicate or do something contradictory.
yeah, agreed, 100%. I think
I think the fun thing with this group that I'm already excited about is we're already wanting to get the work started, and I was thinking this was a kickoff meeting, so I think all of these are great suggestions, and I think, Jonathan, you're spot on. I would hate to invite any other group in before we really, as a committee, have had time to really hash this out and get something formative from our group. So definitely, I think our minds are all thinking in the problem-solving direction, which is fun. Steve has his hand up, and then is Jamin and Phyllis.
Wait, hold on, Steve, hold on, please hold on. Not to interrupt, but we will, when we get to public comment, then we'll open the floor but right now it's just committee discussion.
So I can't talk. Is that right?
Well, until the public comment section, you can.
See.
So I've got Jamin and then Phyllis.
Again, I didn't know how deep we wanted to get into it, but I just wanted to let everyone in the committee know, of course. So as far as some of these additional ordinances that the cities are looking at doing, City of Gresham has already passed it. It is already in their ordinances. So if you're curious to know kind of what these cities are contemplating, I think a lot of them are gonna be looking at mimicking what Gresham just passed. That's what the city of Portland had mentioned to me, is that's one of the things, and so that will kind of give us an idea of their concerns and how they feel like they're going to be addressing them. And so that will give us kind of an outline as to what we want to discuss in future meetings.
Phyllis?
Well, this probably isn't the right place to bring it up, and I understand, but I put in a proposal to the board about a year ago to ask for consideration to make all CEs available to LMTs online. And I thought maybe the rules committee I thought maybe this committee would be dealing with that. I just wonder, maybe this is a question for another time, but Bob, is that something that would ever be considered? I put in a proposal with a bunch of different reasons.
Mhm.
You know, I have a counseling license in Oregon, and all 40 credits are 40 hours are acceptable in online therapy, including the ethics, including the cultural requirement, and including the suicide prevention requirement. So I just thought it was kind of weird that in the massage board, you know, we have to have those 8 hours of live interactive credits, which can be a burden on people for a variety of different reasons. And so I just wondered, is that something that, you know, that was a year ago, I put in the proposal, and I just wondered, is that something we would ever consider?
Yeah, so there are other assignments for this board or for this committee. The ones that you have right now are the priority of the board. So regarding your proposal, it certainly has gone to the board. I think the board has presented that to go to the committee, but these other things take priority over that right now. So it certainly is something that might be considered, but I think the board has made these things that they want the committee to look at first the priority.
So it's not dead, it's just in a.
It's not dead. It's
just in
not
a
dead. It might be a
coma.
while before it gets here.
Okay.
If the board, the board has already voted to have it looked at by a committee. It might
Oh.
not be going to this committee at first.
Oh,
It might be
okay.
going to another committee. And if it was going to this committee, you wouldn't be able to probably participate in it because you made the proposal. But we're going to talk a little bit about that at the next meeting. Between now and the next meeting, I'm going to send you guys some information from the Government Ethics Commission. You are all public figures now because you're part of a committee, which means you're part of this board. And so that means the recusal policies, all those things that apply to public officials are going to apply to you. And so you will have a form that you have to fill out. Actually, you have to sign saying that you understand this stuff. There'll be a little bit of a training you have to do. It's an online thing. And then you'll get a handbook on what your responsibilities are as government officials. And so it's a little bit, it's a little bit more than just being on a committee. And there's a little bit more responsibility than that. So I just wanted to bring that up to you. So it didn't surprise you when it comes in your email box going, what is this? So.
Thank you.
I see Isabel has a comment in the chat. Could we have either Carol or Bob clarify the scope of our work as an advisory council or committee?
Oh, and just to jump in there, sorry, I actually was just trying to respond to somebody and didn't do it privately. Jonathan had just said like he didn't, so I'm just, it's true, like since I haven't done committee work before, I am just trying to figure out how far our boundaries go as a committee and just trying to get a sense of it. So that's all. And I don't know if we need to do that now, but
I think it's a very good timing, even though it was deemed a private conversation. I'm glad you brought it up because I think everyone should know what our scope entails.
Absolutely, yeah, and I have it in my notes right here. It's something I want to discuss at this meeting. So thank you for bringing it up. It's kind of a nice segue. So each committee, currently we have 3 committees, standing committees at OBMT. One's the Rules Committee, Continuing Education Committee, and a Scope of Practice Committee. And so our committee's charge, this committee's charge from the board is, and I'll just read it verbatim, at the direction of the board, assist the board with preparing the statement of need and physical impact statement. And when there are rules changes and review, when there are rule changes and review rules and statutes for consistency of language and content. So at the direction of the board, obviously the board has directed that they want the Rules Committee to look at these topics that we have. So what that means, the financial statement the statement of need and physical impact statement. That's something that we're going to work on kind of after, at the end of the review of the rules. And Akaite is a master at writing physical impact statements. That's all she does during legislative session. Many of them. So she's going to help the committee with that. But you will be reviewing rules and statutes for consistency of language and content. So if the board says, I would like you to implement, that's a bad idea. So I want to make facility permits renewable, then you're going to look at all the rules regarding facility permits. First of all, you look at the statute to make sure the board has the authority to be able to do that. Make sure it's good, saying that they're renewable. And then you'll look at the rule and see how to implement that into rule. Make sure the language is consistent, make sure that it has good content, things like that. If you get stuck and you're like, you know what, is this legal language or not? You can reach out to myself or Akaite and say, this is what we're proposing. Could you have our DOJ attorney look at it? Or could the DOJ attorney come to the next meeting and give us some information regarding, are we on the right track with our language that we're proposing here? Each one of you are selected because of, you have a background in something that the board found very beneficial, whether it be, outside of massage therapy, or whether it be, content experts at different things, teachers, there's a whole range of why you were selected to be on this committee. But they felt that together, you guys would make a good team to come up with the language that was necessary to facilitate these changes that the board wanted. So does that answer your question, Isabel? That's really the charge of this board or this committee. I keep saying board because I'm usually dealing with the board.
I'm sorry, Barb, one quick follow-up.
Yeah.
The only thing clarifying for me, and I appreciate, and it's good to have the scope kind of defined, but the only thing I didn't understand myself was consistent with what? Consistent with existing policy? What is the consistency of or with?
Well, it says in the charge, consistency of language. Consistency of language and content. Consistency of language and content.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what you need to do is take the assignment you've been given, mm-hmm. and go into the rule and say, is this consistent of language and content with regards to what the assignment that we have? So
okay.
So for example, if we're going to write the language for the facility permit, we will continue to call it a facility permit. We're not going to call it something else. So that consistency, the text is consistent. And, supervised hours, unsupervised, those kind of things for consistency. And then the way that, not the way that we do things, but, just keeping with the rules, that the way that it's numbered, all of that stuff. So those are things we pay attention to. Yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to add that the only other thing the committee does not do is vote. That's it. You don't get to vote on any of these things, but you can have agreements amongst yourselves, but the board gets to have the final say.
All right, one other one. I'm sorry. Forgive me. So on the output of the committee work, when it's ready to go to the board, I'm expecting John, being the representative, will present it, or how does that actually get read back? And do we get to monitor that meeting because it is a review of the rules, changes? So I'm just here, and if we haven't defined that yet, that's fine. But I'm just thinking about that.
Yeah, I can answer that for you. So so we have a board liaison and we have a committee chair, and so after every one of these meetings, your board liaison is going to be going to the next board meeting, hopefully, and be able to answer any questions the board has regarding what the committee's doing. So if the board, so the chair of the committee and myself will be presenting to the board the status of what the committee's doing. A quick one, like we met at this particular day. We went through this kind of language, and the committee anticipates that it'll be a month before we're able to get that back to the board. Something like that, just kind of an update. Usually the chair of the committee can do it in person or just submit a quick paragraph to me to be able to present to the board. And then the liaison will be there to answer questions for the board members. So if the board members will be like, Carol, I see that the minutes for this particular meeting or the update we got says this. Can you give us a little more information? She'll say, yeah. What do you need to know? I was there for the whole thing. So that's how the board is updated on what's going on with the committee. There'll be a time that maybe the board will say, listen, it's taking too long. Could you go back as the chair and tell the committee, you need to speed it up because we need to have this in place? Or they'll say, there's something else we want you to focus on as a priority because this came up. So there will be some conversation back and forth. It'll be with your chair, and then he'll filter it down to you. Just so you know, the chair and I will probably meet fairly often between these committee meetings to answer questions of each other and kind of get a game plan about how these are going to be going moving forward. So there'll be a lot of discussion. Does that answer your question, Jonathan?
Yeah, and you're all invited to the meeting,
Yeah, absolutely.
to the board meeting. Invited and encouraged to be there for continuing education hours. Yeah.
And just to clarify for the entire committee, my style of facilitating any group or committee is a team approach. So I will wrap up every meeting with kind of a summary from the committee. So it's not my words that are being projected forward, it's your words. This is about all of us, not about just me being the chair and the conduit. So have peace of mind of that.
All right. Any further questions for me or Akaite? Perfect. I think you all need to work on getting yourselves a date for that next meeting. Sometimes that you guys do a couple ahead in advance. That just depends on if you want to do that or not. It might be a good idea. So, go ahead, Jonathan.
Maybe we should also define the quorum requirements, like as far as if someone's not available, so that we can still make a recommendation or stay on track. So it's still considered representative of the committee.
Correct. Yeah. So what I was going to do, and you're right, we should talk about that. So I'll have to look at the language. What's the quorum requirement? Is it just the majority of the board or the majority of the committee, right? Akaite?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know how many members we have on this committee.
Yeah, no, I don't need to if it just requires majority of who's attending for that quorum, then that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to understand what that looked like and not wind up not being able to report or give an update because we didn't have sufficient members.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. I was just trying to give you specifics and you were kind of looking for generalization there. So between now and the next committee meeting, that's what I was going to send you some information regarding quorums and procedures and processes and things like that. So when you come to the next meeting, you'll have all the state of Oregon way that we want you to do things, that you're required to do things under administrative law. Yeah. Also, I want to kind of let everybody know that, not everybody needs to be at the meeting. Sometimes we get hung up on maybe one person or two people aren't able to attend that. As long as, and Jonathan mentioned that we have enough people to be able to, as long as you have enough people to be able to make a determination, a quorum basically, then you're perfectly fine. So I don't want people canceling things or whatever to try to attend these meetings unless you want to. And it's important, I think, to some people to be able to do that. But sometimes you can miss a meeting here and there. Well, I don't recommend it. I would love to have everybody attend the meeting every time. It makes things flow a lot smoother. But I'm just giving you permission to be human and have emergencies come up, without feeling bad about it. So.
Jamin?
Sorry if this is a stupid question. Do our meetings, one, always have to be like 9 to 5 during OBMT hours? And then do Bob and IKT, I mean, do you guys, are you guys going to be attending all these meetings? So that has to be, or can we, because obviously working during the weekend meetings would be preferable from time to time, if that's even a possibility.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a good question. So I don't get overtime, so I can work whenever I want, and I do a lot, like sometimes till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. Especially during legislative session. To answer your question, I can work outside of that, and so can Akaite. We can adjust her schedule to be able to do that. One of us has to be here, either Akaite or myself. I know Akaite will be at all these meetings unless something happens. I'm going to be to as many as I possibly can. I have some other responsibilities that sometimes, depending on what date you pick, might butt up against those. But it doesn't even matter if I'm in Kansas City or someplace else, I will generally call in at least to be able to answer questions from this committee at the onset. I might not be able to attend the entire thing, but I should be able to at least pop in at every one of these meetings. That's my intention. So.
Jamie?
Okay. I'll turn it back over to John.
So do we have any committee-related dates that are conflicting or days of the week that, as Jamin referenced, would be more desired?
Mondays will always work best for me. I don't see patients or clients on Mondays.
And are there times of day on Mondays? Or just the
it's my
entirety?
most flexible day, so it could be like, other than it being a Monday, like open. But I know that work days and particularly Mondays can be tough for other people, but I just wanted to throw it out there.
Yeah, Monday mornings for me are usually pretty tight, so Monday afternoon would be better. I guess that's so are we proposing like John, a monthly cadence? Is that what you're trying to hone in on here?
You know, I'm a problem solver and get it done kind of personality, so I would rather respect the board's request to get through some of this and really digest as quick as we can, mostly so we can keep up with the board's charge. I think out of respect of busy people's schedules, I think at least pre-planning in 3 to 4 weeks makes sense. That way we all leave with it scheduled. And then get this, I think, because I'm sensing this is more kickoff. Once we really get into the information deeper, we'll get a sense of how in over the heads we are, what the task is.
Yeah, sounds good.
Jamin?
I really liked how we did the poll with some ideas so that we can just kind of select which days and then basically average it out to how we get the most coming. I don't know if that's a possibility. We can kind of look through our schedules, or do you want to actually hammer it out in this meeting right now, like the next three meetings or so?
I think that's where my mind was going, is if I'm looking at the list of committee members that are currently tasked to the committee, only a handful of us are here. So I would rather do a actual poll so those individuals can be included. Just because they're absent today, I don't want to pre-plan another conflict for them. So I think that would make the most sense to respect people. And possibly 2 meetings. I think with busy people, at least getting 2 meetings preset makes sense.
Excellent. So we can certainly do a poll. So we're looking at February. We'll give the information to them. Maybe if it's every 3 to 4 weeks, that might be 2 meetings in February. Because if we do it at the beginning, it depends on when it lies. So if you guys decide to do it the first week of February, 3 or 4 weeks later will be the last week of February. So we will set it up for maybe February and March and open up all the dates, and whoever can fit in there the best. Does that sound good? This poll? Okay.
And Carol, if I may ask, in respect to the board meetings, we've got a meeting this month, correct, for the board?
Yes, the
And then
27th.
okay, and the next meeting would be March
Yes.
or not?
Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
Okay, so I think the cool thing from history of committee work is it would be awesome to have a couple meetings prior to their next, not the January meeting, but March, because then we can really have some substance to kick over for them to see all the great work we're doing.
Mhm.
Yep. The March meeting is the 31st of March. Oh, no, sorry, wrong year. The 23rd.
Cool.
Yep. Excellent. So we will, myself and Akaite will work on getting a poll out regarding the availability of committee members and board liaison and for February and March, with the idea of at least having or trying to have 2 meetings between this board meeting in January and the board meeting in March.
Cool.
Is that correct? Does that sound good? Okay.
Any other committee questions, clarifications, or comments? All right. With respect to public comment, is there any public comment?
Yes.
Steve, you've got two hands up.
Oh,
Go ahead.
who's allowed to speak? I don't know.
Steve, go ahead.
It's on you, Steve. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. With regard to the discussion about mandatory reporting, and I should have mentioned this in my introduction, but I think most people here know this. I'm an educator, and I'm very much dedicated to our profession as healthcare providers. I've been teaching online, interactive distance learning courses in ethics, science, and cultural competency. I started teaching these courses 10 years ago and added more. And we've got over almost 1,800 students on my site now. Most of them are LMTs from Oregon. And in our discussions, in our private forums, there are thousands of posts, and the issue of mandatory reporting comes up a lot. And believe me when I tell you, I keep track of every single statute and administrative rule from our board and everything that affects us as licensed healthcare providers. I'm very strict about it. I have 24/7 customer service, which I've had for many years, and I'm on my business hours are 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 7 days a week, every single day. So I've got my I'm very much dedicated to our profession. So that's an important topic to discuss. And I've got a list of the statutes. I keep on top of all that at all times. And I think I'm glad that I'm here, and I'm hoping that I'll be on the committee, the rules committee, because I thought I still was. I think that's just something that ball got dropped in the communication. I'm not blaming anybody at all. Maybe I didn't read one email, but anyway, I'd like to be back on the committee that I thought I was still on. Okay. And I respect everybody here. Bob, you're doing a wonderful job. Kayate, you are too. Carol, I've known for many years. John, I know people. Lisa, we served together on the education committee for many years. And so I understand, I regard all of you as friends and colleagues. Okay, so I'm here on your side, 100%. Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
I just like to say on that, I know this is kind of simplistic, but I've had problems getting emails sometimes from different systems. Like even today, I didn't get the email from Ekate that you referred to. I didn't get it on my PC, but I got it on my iPad. You know, it might be in spam or something, but it could be something as simple as that and nothing that you missed personally. Just things get weird.
Lisa, you've got your hand up, and good to see you.
It's great to see you, John, and everyone. I'm so excited and jazzed by the energy of this committee. It's amazing, and you have just the most wonderful chair. All I can say is he's going to keep you on track and not have a lot of energy about what we're doing. He's just amazing. So a couple of things. As a former committee member for many years, I just want to address, I think it was Isabel who was talking about, or maybe having people come who, like from the city of Gresham or Portland, and how did they make their rules? And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think as committee members, we go out and get that information. We get it printed from them, we look at their ordinances or whatever, and we bring that in so that, just like you said, they're not sitting around listening to us talk about what word to use, you know. But you do want to get what is happening. I mean, even go out of state and see what they're doing with any kind of House Bill 3819 related moment. I'm also terrifically excited about adding us as mandatory reporters. I always thought it was weird that we weren't. So that'll be an interesting and hopefully supported by the community. Yes, okay. That's really all I have to say beyond thank you. And it was fun to hear you guys talk and not be responsible for anything.
Well, thank you to everyone for taking precious time out of your day to do very important work. And we all have a voice on this committee. I will advocate that we're all equal with what we contribute. So hold me accountable to that. I really value getting to lead your group, but I want your voice to be the voice that the board gets to hear. I don't have anything additional since I do feel this was more kickoff. I think we'll get into it pretty intense our next couple of meetings. So if there's anything else, Carol, that you feel passionate that your board is needing us to do, let us know.
I will. My passions are calm at the moment.
Perfect. And then Akaite or Bob, do we need any wrap up or?
Yeah, I think we're good. I'm also very excited about the energy that this group has. Yeah, I think it's going to be a great group. I look forward to working with you all. So. You have anything, Akaite?
No. Thank you all so much for your time.
Yeah, if you need to adjourn, if you could adjourn us, John.
Perfect. Have a great extra 45 minutes to your day, and I'm going to adjourn, even though I didn't call it to order. And again, I really look forward to some fun together because it can be intense at times. I know some committees can be pretty intense in energy, but we're going to have fun while we're being focused. So, okay, have a great weekend.
Okay,
Right. Thank you.